Hey everybody, welcome back. Um, my soul family. If you're here, you're probably part of my team. So I'm so happy that you're here and you're tuning in. Yeah, it's funny because today I'm going to talk about Mercury retrograde, what it is, what it isn't. And it's so funny because it's actually informing me more and more. Because I've tried to make this video like 3 or 4 times, and I usually am one I just hit record, don't look back. I just go forward, see what happens, don't even think about it. And this time, seeing how I am like talking to basically it looks like me, and so it's very weird. Feels like I'm talking in a mirror. But through that weird reflection of Zoomness is you, and you are out there and you are watching this. And I lit a candle on the second video that I tried to make. And it is lit so that we can connect in time and space together. But what is just amusing me is that it wasn't from technological hiccups or anything like that. It was actually from a place of absolute weird self-consciousness. Like I suddenly I couldn't think of the next thing to say. There it just wasn't there. It wasn't available. No words. I stopped having thoughts. And it actually made me think that's Mercury retrograde. Um, we get this actually a blessing of a moment where up in the sky it's a perspective of us of ours from here on earth to see Mercury looking like it's going backwards. It actually never does. I mean, couldn't that would be amazing if suddenly like a planet full stop and started going the other way in its orbit. Okay, that doesn't happen. But from us here, it's kind of this funny perspective where we see it from our vantage point going forward in the sky and then all of a sudden slowing down and then going backwards. Well, for us, since that is a mirror, like the cosmos, I feel is a reflection of what we are also going through and moving through in our own bodies and in our environments. It is a time where we get to pause and reflect. And Mercury is the one pretty much in charge of divine messages. And divine messaging can be through your mental bodies, um, and also messages through spirit. Honestly, communication in any way that you can think of. And yeah, so I thought it was kind of amusing that for me, communication with my own self was not available. It just went like bzz, quiet. And so there were pockets of time I was just kind of staring at the screen, not knowing what to say. Whew. So there we go. Um, yeah, a little bit about that is that it's also from my last video. We were talking about Pluto going retrograde. And so now we've got two planets in the sky looking like they're going backwards. So, and Pluto and Mercury both going backwards, and they're in an aspect together. And I like to think of that as a conversation. They're having a conversation. Sometimes if they're opposite each other, it's kind of a tense conversation of like both wanting to take a turn. So it's learning cooperation. And then in this one, it is, let me double check that if it is a sextile or if it is a triangle. It's a trine, so it's a triangle. And so if you think of a triangle, it's like the shape of it's a very strong shape, and it's also like the three of creation, you know, two little beings create a third little being. And yeah, so that divine creation, that's the conversation that they're having, Mercury and Pluto. And they're taking a pause, a breath out of time. So, what does that mean for us in our body? Well, Pluto comes around and it helps dissolve big, crunchy things. Like if you think of, I like to think of things in terms of the garden and outside. So, Pluto, in my opinion, is kind of like the big old wood chipper that it's actually it's just like crunch crunch crunch, but then it's also many different processes. It's also, all of the bugs and things that then kind of start to dissolve away the bigger uh, matter in that compost, and then you've got like the mycelium that starts to regenerate. So if you think of Pluto, Pluto is that action of taking bigger objects and then crunching them down to smaller objects. And then Mercury, Mercury is the sign that is in charge of thinking, communication, talking. It is, that the messenger. And so it's there zipping, zipping, zipping around. And if you think of actual Mercury, it is going around the sun so freaking fast that it just does laps and laps around the sun before we complete a cycle. So it knows everything already. It's already been there, done that, experienced it, and it tells us what we're going to experience next. If we're it's like listening, it's the one that's in tune with the greater pulse of the solar system. Which reminds me this cool thing that I will share. uh I'll have to find a way to do that. So, cliffhanger. Anyway, yeah, so those two things are kind of they are in a conversation together. And so then what does that actually feel like, and what does that actually do in our lives? Is that this is not really a time where it's like, okay, great, the computer's going to break and the Zoom isn't going to work, and the typical things that we think of like, oh, blame it on Mercury retrograde. This is actually a time where our deep subconscious um, boulders are being whittled down from the help of the divine messenger and the divine shamanic compost. And so those two things together really help us actually illuminate and understand on a quieter level what big um, ruts in our mind are ready to, how are we ready to shift out of this deep heavy groove that we've carved for ourselves, and how do we actually shift tracks into one that is like more aligned. I like how the rainbow's right there, more aligned with our divine spark, our divine being, the piece of us that's actually eternal and forever joyful and youthful and effervescent. Like how can we compost away these different layers that are keeping us from being that um, that soul self of us, of ours. So that being said, there's so much more in the sky going on, but I feel like it becomes a little overwhelming to like wrap it up in a somewhat shorter video, because I think sometimes they get too long. But yeah, because also there's Uranus up in the same area, as well as everything right now is like Uranus, the sun, the is that the north or south node? The north node and Mercury are all basically hovering very close with the seven sisters in the sky, the beautiful muses, the ones of art and poetry, dance, and storytelling. And those three, four big planets are all basically hanging out in conversation at one table with those seven sisters, kind of teaching us and guiding us. Now, I will bring up the Pleiades and the seven sisters a lot in my readings, and it's because this is a star system that is deeply, deeply connected to us um, as humans, as evolving species. I see the Pleiades as our ancient elders, ancestors, the these star beings that came long time before, but they're actually teaching us now how to get through this deep transition that we're going through collectively, and in a way that is graceful and beautiful, and honors everyone and takes care of everyone. If you think of them as the guides of unity in a time when we are deeply separate, and they help us understand this. That's why I actually put my painting up on the wall today, along with the shadow, is that they are helping us understand the beauty of our unique nature and holding the light and the dark together, and also understanding that each of us have our individual beautiful colors, and that we are all radiant magical beings, no matter what color or shape or size you are. And that when we blend together in this oh, it's everything's backwards, so it's like a limniscat. So if everything blends in that divine center heart, and then all of those colors merge into different colors that we've never seen before, well, that is also uniquely beautiful. So they're helping us. Those they helped me make that painting. They helped me make both of these paintings, and they're helping me give this reading to you right now, and probably many, many more in the future. So thank you to my Pleiadian guides and to your Pleiadian guides, because you're probably here because you've got them too. I mean, I kind of feel like we all do. It's just a matter of if we're listening. So let's just go ahead and get a quick little energy reading. I love these cards. I kind of think that the art just kind of summed it up. But let's go ahead and get a quick, oh, that I think is it. Yeah, this is it. A quick little energy reading for today. Laugh, right? Are we being too serious? Are we just being too serious? Are we taking everything so freaking serious and we forgot that we need to laugh? So yeah, soul mission for today, find something funny. And if you are in a space where it seems like you're just not in a good mood and it's not very funny, well, ask your guides to, can you send me something funny? Just help me crack up today in the best way. And then just laugh, let go and laugh. I've got this light here, so I don't know how to laugh. Laugh at the fact that I've got a light shining weird on my card. The other thing that's cool is that I've got 8. It's that limniscat again. The other thing that I think is interesting about this card is that I'll just tuck that out of the way and I'll just, be shadow person. Yeah. Screw the light. I don't need it. There you go. All right. There. Yeah, so it's like a mask. One of the reasons that sometimes we don't laugh is because we're wearing a mask over we can't laugh through a mask. So, so yeah, take off the mask, relax, laugh, find something funny. And let's see, what other cards? Hmm, what card should I pick? Which ones, guys? Which ones? How about, okay, yeah, I'm feeling this one because it feels very starry. This one is the Starseed Oracle. I love this one. Okay. Oh, and in case you want to see, because I know you're probably curious, what is inside this bag? Well, surprise for you, I have a mermaid face. Yep, mermaid face. You needed to see that. Okay, brought to you by Taya's Old Clothes again. Okay. Oh my goodness, 8,000 cards. So yeah, let's go ahead and see what is, can I shuffle? Can I shuffle? But what is something that our guides want us to be aware of today with this beautiful message of laugh? Having trouble shuffling. Okay. Ooh, interesting. Wow. Okay. Lifting the veil. And the words underneath say, question everything. Anything aligned must go. And I'm getting the message of laugh it off. Laugh it off. Is that if it's stuck in the body, laughing actually helps move it out of the body. It's another way of like just shed. So it's like laughing, laugh till you cry. And then the next one is portal, doors opening, you decide, rewards, wild card. So where is it that we're going to next? Where is it that this time of deep rewinding, deep self-reflection with the mind slowing down so that we can really, watch our thoughts and see our patterns and notice the things that come up over and over and over again. How is it we can actually open the door and walk through whatever that is and just keep moving forward? I see both of these as like she's walking through a door. Yeah. And with that message of laugh, deciding not to take things so serious or question when you start like question when something comes up that makes you feel like you don't have permission to have fun, or that you don't have time to have fun, or that life is too busy or hectic to have fun. Having fun actually lifts the weight off of your shoulders. It lifts that veil off your shoulders so that you can remember how you are made of starlight. You are made of all these pretty colors, um and how to actually walk through this doorway. We've also got, we are actually in this kind of arc between eclipses. And yeah, so it's like eclipse energy is still really big. It's part of that portal energy that we're in right now. And this is also that time of year where it is actually kind of a Stargate time, because if you think about on the other side, it is fall, it is like Samhain or Halloween. It's like it's that edge over there. And if you think of both of us working together as a planet, whatever is happening on one side is also happening on the other, but in reverse. So over here, we are experiencing the like the bridgeway to summer, and everything is opening up to life and new beginnings and things taking off, and then over there everything is now like quieting down and falling back to earth and going retreating inward, and it's now going into that time of like winter. And so it's kind of interesting that we hold both of these polarities at the same time, even if we're not aware of it. And so I also feel like this is reminding us that on this side, this is also a time where the veil is thin. And the veil is thin, but in a different way. It's not so much in a keep it all quiet and boil it all down, like inside the deep dark nest. This is actually more of a outward expression of the veil. So it'd be interesting to explore that differently, because I've always really much explored like the thinning of the veil when it gets to autumn time and it gets to like that harvest time, because that's when I want to do these different rituals and talk to the ancestors. But I'm realizing more and more in my practice that the ancestors never leave and they're always here. And the veil is more of we decide when the veil is thick and when the veil is thin. And it's really just us opening the portal within ourselves to be deeper and deeper listeners. And so this whole thing with Mercury slowing down, it's inviting us to be a deeper listener. And I think in my theory, I think that is why communication stops working the way we want it to work. Computers don't do the thing we are hoping them to do. The drive and the push and the endless exhausting our bodies to get things done fast is kind of like Mercury does not care about that, and all it wants is everything to be in divine balance. And so when things are out of divine balance, it doesn't matter if that email is going to go through. Like it seems like spirit's asking you, stop, reflect, rephrase. Are you sending that email out of frustration or anger, or neediness, or all these different things that come up for us to revisit at a time when the veil is thin. So it's like, how can we be deeper and deeper listeners to the whispering of our child self, the one that knows how to laugh and take things less seriously and go with the flow and enjoy. So yeah, I think that might be, we're going to keep this kind of short. I think I will end with my handbook. And I love this book because it's just so much fun to pick a card out of it. So let's see. One last little message for us from my guides, from your guides, our ancestors on this day. So let's see. Well, it's hard to say. Was it that one or this one? I'm kind of feeling like it was a little bit of both. So, all right. Because it popped to this page, but then it immediately turned to this one. So important. This is a twofold message. This one says, set your intention, make a wish, release that. If there's something inside that's keeping you from being able to laugh today, that is a sacred offering, and actually set that free. Give it to divine spirit that, I have this big thing and I cannot I cannot find joy today, so I release it in the wind. I release it. And then set your intention. What do you want? What would you like to come into that space that you've just now created? And then take a look at the next thing that it gave us. Indulge. Like, set the intention and then thoroughly enjoy life's little pleasures. It's kind of showing us this little chocolate, and I'm not really encouraging like to go out and just binge eat an entire box of chocolates, but more like take one and then deeply enjoy it. Set your intention to deeply enjoy something that is delicious and nurtures you. It might even be something like, I mean, honestly, some chocolate in this culture has a bad rap of because we overindulge, and we don't indulge to for the simple pleasures of things, to just sit and enjoy one taste. It's like there's that, I don't know if it is a Buddhist practice or not. It might be. Some of these practices are so ancient that they kind of trickle into all different places. But to sit with your eyes closed and take a bite and just really let the entire bite like go through your whole body, all of your senses, and just really deeply connect to it and enjoy it. So yeah, set your intention and indulge. I love that. So I'm going to do that too. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye and thank you all for joining me today. And I can't wait to do this again with you guys. So until next time, bye.